guys, this session is basically on F5 LTM or F5 interview and questions and with answers. So many of the people have reached out to me that, hey, Vidit sir, can you help me? Like I am working professional or I am new to the F5. So what type of questions can be asked? So let's think like you are sitting in an interview and this is the mock interview session, which I'll be taking. I don't have fixed questions. I don't have that. I don't do that. Basically, my agenda is let me treat myself as an interviewer and you are my candidate. So what type of questions can be asked? So let's do a mock interview. So I'll be taking one as an example so that you can ask. In this session, I will be mostly focused on the production interview questions and answers. So that's why there are no fixed questions. But I can guarantee you guys, we will keep having these sessions regular basis. We have already started this for Palo Alto F5 other modules. So this is another session which I will take. So guys, my first question for you guys is, how many modules are there in F5? That is my first question on F5 technology. How many modules are available in F5? Any quick answer on the chat? I will give 4 options to you. First option, you have LTM, GTM, SSL, VPN, and IPsec. Second option is LTM, ASM, then DNS, SSL, VPN. Another option is LTM, GTM, ASM, and DNS, and APM. Next option is F5 LTM, GTM, ASM, and APM. So guys, out of which option you think is most valid? My question is, how many modules are available in F5? So today my interview session is little changed. I will be giving you option which can help you in clearing the certifications also, like 101, 201, 301. So the correct answer for this question is LTM, GTM, ASM, and AP. Next question. What is difference between TCP health monitor versus HTTP? Very important question which will be asked in interview. When I talk about health monitor, guys, what is the main difference between TCP and health HTTP? So first difference is when I talk about TCP health monitor and HTTP health monitor is TCP works on layer 4. It only checks your service availability on your server. What is the example, guys? See, interviewer will ask you some questions related to live production example. How you can check whether it's an issue with F5 or whether it's an issue with server. My question is, what is the difference between TCP health monitor versus HTTP health monitor? Now, if I'm saying that TCP do checks based on service availability. So how you can log in into CLI and check whether it's an F5 issue or server issue? When you have a client, when you have F5, then you have server 1, server 2, server 3. How you can check whether it's an F5 issue or a server issues? So in TCP, guys, what you do is your health monitor topic comes when F5 wants to check the availability of this server. If server is down, F5 will not forward the traffic to that server. That is the main purpose of health monitor. But my question is, guys, what exactly it does? How you can check in TCP whether your server is up or not? In that case, guys, you just log in into Putty. Very important question, guys, which will be asked in interview. You log in into CLI. Let's say my IP is 192.168.137.50. Just log in. I'm logging using default password. And I want to check my TCP health monitor is working fine or not. My servers are up or not. So how you will check? Let's say this server is down. F5 is treating this server down. How you can check it? So you go into CLI and perform this telnet 10.2.2.30 on port number. So every server is a combination of IP plus port number. So if telnet is unsuccessful, guys, what will happen? Anyone? I am saying that in TCP handshake, you need to check the service availability, whether your servers are listening on port 80 or not. Let's say I have 3 servers. What this mean, guys? This is a live troubleshooting, guys. Because many people told that let's cover some troubleshooting scenario. So in a live environment, when your servers are down behind F5, how you can make sure that whether it's an F5 issue or a server issue. In that case, connection refuse generally means that your server is not listening. Your server is not listening on port number, let's say 80443. That is a best example. In that case, you will say that, hey, server team, it's not an F5 issue because my telnet is working fine. Sorry, telnet is not working fine. It's saying connection refused. It means your servers is not listening on port. Very important, guys. Now, how you will check HTTP health check, guys? In HTTP health monitor, what you will check exactly, guys? My question is, you need to check the server availability. Your server is down. Please listen, guys. This is very, very important. It's a live production question which I am asking. Let's say you have an F5 with servers, server 1, server 2, server 3. But HTTP health monitor you have, and your servers is saying down. These are 2 up. What you will check? How you will check whether why this server is down? Anyone? In TCP, we generally do telnet. But what will happen in HTTP case? How you will check whether server is sending response correct or not? I want to check. Generally, health monitor is basically based on your server health. If I send SYN packet, server should send SYNEC. But I am talking about HTTP, guys. In HTTP, what will happen, guys? In HTTP, guys, you will check, you will send a GET request to your server. This is called HTTP request. And you should get response, which is called HTTP response. So how you will check? Let's say, let me show you. Let me log in into F5. I will log in into one device quickly and show you what I want to talk. Very important, guys, how you need to check whether your health monitor is there or not. Let's say I have pools. Can you see I have pool of RGB server? Can someone tell me what is the health monitor configured here? I have one pool. Pool is nothing, but it's a combination of red, green, blue server. In this case, I have TCP health monitor. So I will do telnet. But I am saying that if I have an HTTP monitor here, how you will test the issue? In that case, guys, there is a command called curl command. You will do curl HTTP, then your server IP. This is how you can perform reachability of your server. curl is only used when you have HTTP health monitor coming into picture. Right now, why I don't have, you can do one thing. In your case, you have a monitors, go into monitor tab, you will say HTTP. Can you see this HTTP custom? What I have configured? I have configured this. So what I will do? I will do curl, then I will say 10.2.2.30. Then I can say index.html. This will give you some response, because in my case right now I might not be using it, but you will get a result. So right now it's saying you cannot connect. I will go here. I will see what is the IP. 137.50. In my case, why it's not coming up? Because that is route right now. It has this server 10.2.2.30. These two are down. Why it is down, guys? So I will go into green server. I will log in. Root. Here I will see the IP address. This is my server at the pool end. This is my self IP, okay? Because this is my router default. So do I have that self IP configured? Yes, it's configured. But I don't have an HA, so what I will do, I will have 10.2.50. I will activate. Now what I will do, guys, I will show you. I have 10.2.2.52 up. Okay. If I go here, pool of RGB, can you see? I have this server up 10.2.31, but my health monitor here is HTTP. Now I will show you curl 10.2.2.31. So this is the output you will get. Because that server is not configured with HTTP page, but this is an output which you will get. It means your server is replying. So that is how you can check. Your TCP uses your layer 4 connection to check. You will do telnet and check whether your server is up or not. In HTTP, guys, you will do curl, which will check your get. Can anyone tell me what are the important parameters, guys? In HTTP, how you configure an health monitor? Very important. In HTTP, if you configure an health monitor, what you configure? What are the two protocols which you configure? One is send string, one is receive string. So if I go here, I will show you how you configure. You go into HTTP, custom. Can you see? Very important, guys. These are the two settings which you configure in health monitor. This is your page which is provided by your application team. This is send string, this is receive string. If you are running get here, you should get response code 5. Let's say my index.html is opening. So I should get 200 okay. If I'm not getting 200 okay in response, your server will be down. That is the difference between TCP versus HTTP based health monitor. And guys, these are truly interview questions which I have seen people are facing. So I wanted to cover live troubleshooting interview questions. Now, guys, can anyone tell me, let's say I have a client, my third interview question for you guys. Let's say I have a client, I have an F5. I have server 1, server 2, server 3. I have applied TCP health monitor. Can anyone tell me which parameter F5 will take to check this servers? After how much second this F5 will check the server reachability and declare it down? Let's say I've configured ICMP. Which parameter in health monitor decide that after 10 seconds I should mark this server down? There should be a reachability, right? Let's say I am Arjun and let's say I have Hemu. Arjun wants to talk to Hemu. If Hemu is not replying, after how much time I should mark it down? So this is the same case. After how much time F5 will mark the server down? My question is, which parameter decides this? Very, very important question, guys. Which parameter in F5 decides that I need to mark this server down? So there are two things here, guys. One is interval, one is timeout. What is the difference between interval versus timeout, guys? If I am an interviewer, if you answer me this question, guys, I know that you are working. See, many people are working in theory part, but I want to test if candidate is working properly or not. So I will ask this question. I will come to know he is working. If you know health monitor, that is fine. But what comes under health monitor, guys? So that is where your health monitor comes into picture. Interval means that after 5 seconds, I will send a packet. After 5 seconds, I will send a packet to the server to check the reachability. In that case, what will happen is first 5 seconds, I will check. I will show you quickly. Just give me. So what will happen? There are two parameters here which comes into picture. I will show you. Just let me show you quickly on interval versus timeout. Give me 1 minute. Screen. So that is an important question which asked by an interviewer. What is interval versus timeout? Interval is, let's say I've given 5 seconds an interval. So it means after each 5 seconds, I will track whether you are up or not, whether you are up or not. So my screen is little freeze. So give me 2 minutes. Meanwhile, I am chalking the theory part. So that is the question which will be asked in an interviewer. So give me 1 minute. My screen seems to be freeze. Just hold on. So I'm sharing my screen again. Let me log in into the device. Okay. So guys, sorry for that. My screen got freeze some due to some issue. So I was talking about interval versus timeout. So in this case, guys, let's say I have given interval 5 seconds and timeout 16 seconds. What does mean? I have an F5, I have 3 servers. Interval means that first 5 seconds I will check whether you are up or down. Let's say first packet, it's down. After 5 seconds, again, it will send one more packet. Third packet also, it's down. Maximum time 16 seconds. If F5 observes even after 16 seconds, this server is not responding, this will mark it down. So F5 should have a technology, right, to mark server up or down. That is a very important question which comes into picture. Another question, very, very important. Deployment. What is the difference between one arm mode versus two arm mode? When I say in F5, what is the difference between one arm mode versus two arm? Anyone, guys? I have a client. I have a firewall. I have F5. I have 3 servers. What is one arm mode? In this setup, guys, can anyone tell me whether F5 is deployed as one arm or two arm? So two arm means, guys, two interfaces or two VLANs are configured on F5. Let's say this is an external and this is my internal. That is called two arm modes, means two VLANs. Now, what is one arm then? One arm mode, guys, one example is, let's say I have a client, I have a firewall, I have F5, but my servers are also in, let's say, Azure or AWS. Please understand, my traffic is coming from this way to this way. Incoming interface is using this, but my servers are on cloud. My question is, what is one arm mode in F5? So client traffic is coming from firewall. F5 receives the traffic. After that, F5 will check whether servers are directly connected or not. Now it will check servers are not directly connected. What it will check now? My servers are not directly connected. What comes into picture, guys, in this case? Route. So F5 will have a default route because your servers are on internet. Your client is also on internet and your servers are also on internet. So in this case, your guys single interface or single VLAN is used for incoming and outgoing. That is called one arm mode. Same interface is using to receive incoming traffic. And same interface is again using F5 will send a traffic to firewall, firewall send to the server. So that is a one arm mode use case in F5. Now, next question, last question for today is, when I configure virtual server, what is the difference between address translation, very important question, versus port translation? Can anyone tell me, by default F5 is a denied device or allowed device? Anyone? By default, if I say whether F5 is a allowed device or denied device, anyone? If I don't have a virtual server configured for any website, in that case, whether F5 will accept the traffic or not. By default, F5 is a denied device. And why we say that, guys, F5 perform destination by default? Can anyone tell me why F5 we call it as a destination net device? How F5 is a denied device? F5 is a denied device, we told, because there is no virtual server, that is why F5. But can someone tell me how F5 perform destination net? What does it mean? Which features of your virtual server will perform destination net? So that feature is called this address translation and port translation. So I will go to my virtual servers. I will go here in configuration advanced, and there is a feature called address translation and port translation. Why it is called destination net? Because, guys, let's say I have client to F5 and one connection from F5 to the server. Client IP is 192.168.1.60. Your virtual server IP is 192.168.1.40. and your server IP is 10.2.30. So if there is a TCP handshake, what is the source IP here? Source IP would be client IP. Destination IP is virtual IP. But when F5 makes a connection to the server, in that case, source IP will remain your client IP. But in this case, what would be the destination IP, guys? When F5 makes a three-way handshake with the server, in that case, what would be my destination IP? Your destination IP is 10.2.30. So in this case, guys, can you see your source IP in both the connection is same. What is getting changed? Your virtual IP is getting translated to your pool member. So this is what it does. Very, very important question, guys. Many people stuck on this. And what does port translation mean? Port translation means, let's say your virtual server is on 443, but your server is on 480. So that is mean port translation.